please put your hands together for the incredible Devon Fox.
Thanks, Emily. Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. It's very difficult to see you, but I'm super glad that you're here, and I'm super glad to meet all of you here in this beautiful location, in this beautiful country that in just a few days for me has started to feel a little bit like home. Lately, I've been experimenting with different types of bilateral stimulation techniques to heal my own personal traumas, to help improve my creativity, and to help deepen the connections that I have with my friends and family, while also showing up better for the teams and the people that I manage at the PGA TOUR. So let's get into it. I have a gift for you this evening, a little something that you can take home with you when you leave this Festival of Ideas at the end of the night. Would anyone like to try a bilateral stimulation technique? Yes? Okay. Let's start by relaxing into the most comfortable position you can find in your very comfortable pew seating. Okay, you can just relax into your seat, really sink in there, let your shoulders fall. And now that you've found the most comfortable position that you can be in, go ahead and close your eyes. Let your eyelids be heavy, and if it's comfortable, you can drop your chin down a little. We're going to work on our breathing together. Slowly inhale for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue this cadence of breathing for as long as I talk, and really focus on expanding your diaphragm as you inhale. And as you exhale, wring all of the air out of your lungs if you can. Allow your breath to be smooth and relaxed. If your body feels tense still, try to let go of that energy. Soften the lines between your brows. Soften your jaw. And as you let that last bit of energy go, try to recall a place where you feel calm and peaceful. And if you've never felt like that anywhere, imagine a place where you would feel calm and peaceful. Or imagine yourself right here in this cathedral. This place is special. Hundreds of years of silence and prayer, thoughtfulness, have all occurred in these walls. You feel at ease. You feel the history and the peace all around you. Here, you don't have to put on a face or show up in any specific way. You can just be yourself. Access as many sensory details as you can. Focus on making this place feel as real as possible. And now that you've got that calm place in mind, go ahead and cross your hands over your shoulders so that your left hand is on your right shoulder and your right hand is on your left shoulder. Continue breathing in for 5 and out for 5, and keep that pace the whole time if you can. And we're going to begin tapping. We're going to alternate tapping. Tap on your left shoulder, on your right shoulder, left, right, left, right, left, right. And continue going at a slow or a medium pace, whatever feels right to you. And we'll continue doing this for between 15 and 30 taps on each side. Notice how you feel as you tap each side. Notice the sensations in your body. If you have any thoughts during this exercise, that's okay. Just let them go. Continue tapping. And once you've finished, you can go ahead and place your hands into your lap and very slowly open your eyes. Notice how you feel. Do you feel calm? Do you feel relaxed? I hope you do. You can return to this place anytime you need to. Bilateral stimulation. Bilateral literally translates to involving two sides. And stimulation is something that causes someone or something to become active or to develop in some way. And when we combine those two words together, bilateral and stimulation, we're talking about causing stimulation to both sides of the brain and the body. And when we do that, it actually causes new neural pathways to form. And for most people, new neural pathways means growth. When we stimulate both sides of the body and the brain, it helps us connect how we feel with how we think. And it also calms and soothes our nervous systems in much the same way that meditation does. And because of those benefits, bilateral stimulation techniques have been used to treat PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, since 1987. When bilateral stimulation is used to treat trauma, it's generally referred to as EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. That's a lot of words, but it's basically just a protocol that was developed by a doctor and designed to work with all the major fields in psychotherapy. Bilateral stimulation in EMDR therapy leads to a reduction in distress and negative emotions that are encoded into your body and into your brain when traumatic or upsetting experiences occur in your life. This helps people move that upsetting feeling and that negative information that they've been storing in their body and in their brain to a positive state. When a person goes through this kind of therapy while they're thinking about a traumatic experience, that traumatic experience is automatically linked with a positive memory, a positive experience from that person's past. And that linkage in consciousness and in memory is where the new neural pathways are being formed. So let's take a look at a couple of examples of bilateral stimulation. We'll start with light stimulation. Picture a black bar with little tiny lights across it, and that light moving across the bar, okay? Tactile stimulation, imagine if I had two buzzers in my hand and they were alternating from side to side, from hand to hand. Auditory stimulation, maybe you've got headphones and the tone is alternating from left to right ear. Bilateral drawing, which is one of my favorite things to do. Grab a piece of paper, two different pens or crayons, whatever, and just start drawing with both hands. Interesting things come out. Walking, jogging, running. These are things we do every day. You've probably heard of some of the runners in your life talk about how much better they feel when they're done running or jogging. It's because of this bilateral stimulation that's happening while they're thinking about the bad day that they had while they run. Roller skating, which we'll get into in a moment. Drum circles, picture your hands alternating on a drum. Riding a bike, moving your feet, propelling your feet to move that bike forward. The bilateral tapping exercise that we just did. And bilateral music, which is something that is really interesting. It's not, I wouldn't say it's emerging, but it's a newer form of music. Picture the audio tones that we talked about a moment ago going from side to side in your headphones, but add really beautiful music on top of it. It's very popular on social media right now with people who are in the ADHD and the autism communities. So why am I talking about trauma with all of you? It's such a strange topic to bring to a conference like this. But where I'm from in the United States, it's a common topic. A lot of people have gone through a lot of things, and the healthcare system, or as I like to call it, the sick care system, does not generally include coverage for mental health. And in addition to that, healthcare is not accessible through state programs or government programs or social programs. We have to get it through our employers. Many of our employers are starting to wake up to the fact that mentally and emotionally unwell workforces are actually less productive, so they are starting to include it, which is great news for all of us. But the point here is that healing is still a privilege and not a right. And even though many companies are waking up to this fact and understanding that mental health is important, it's still a vastly underrepresented topic in corporate life. I've been working for 20 years, and I've really only heard it discussed in the last 3 to 4 years. The lines between work life and home life are very blurry. We have computers in our pockets. We have high-speed internet in our homes. We have access to corporate information systems like we have never had before. And people are bringing that work home with them. And many of you probably work from home full-time now. When that happens, the lines get even blurrier, right? When does your workday start? When does your workday end? If there is no distinguishable difference between the start and end of your workday and your work life and your work and your home life, what do you do with your trauma? Where do you process it? How do you deal with mental health issues? When do you do it? You don't. You bring it to work with you. And that means sometimes showing up with unhealed trauma. However, if we can heal, we can show up to work more fully as ourselves, more authentically as ourselves. And healing from our traumas allows us to be more productive while we are at work. It also allows us to become more creative in our approaches to problem solving. And it opens us up to the magic that is all around us. The magic in this room. This is where innovation comes from. This is how we drive new products, new ideas, new services, and ultimately new business for our companies. And finally, we're discussing trauma because healing allows us to leave the roles in the companies for which we work better than we found them. When we show up healed, we can focus on fixing the dysfunction in corporate life. We can focus on performing our tasks in innovative and efficient and productive ways. We can be better coworkers to one another. We can be more empathetic leaders to our direct reports. And we can be less damaged as we recruit and hire new people to join our companies. Back in 2017, I broke my ankle playing roller derby. And when that break occurred, I immediately went into a cast. And I lost my driving privileges because it was my right ankle, and that's the driving foot. So, as a very fiercely independent person, this was really a nightmare for me. I think I had a total of 20 weeks where I was unable to drive. And in the very early days of that experience, I wasn't able to care for myself. I wasn't able to make a sandwich. I wasn't able to, go to the restroom on my own without assistance. And when I got out of that period of time and I was cleared by my surgeon, the first thing I did was roller skate. And when I got on my skates, I was thinking about the moments that led up to my ankle breaking. I was thinking about the moment where it broke and it didn't hurt. I was thinking about going to the hospital afterwards and the agonizing pain that happened when they reset my ankle. I was thinking about, being at home, being completely helpless, not being able to take care of myself, and just feeling very sad and disconnected and depressed in the world. But what was happening was magic. I was healing myself on my roller skates, thinking about the emotionally and physically traumatic experiences that I went through when I broke my ankle while I was doing a bilateral stimulation technique of roller skating actually helped me heal. It helped me through the situation, it helped me recover, and I got to do something I loved while I was healing. In a matter of weeks, I felt myself showing up in a very different way in the world. I think about myself as an introvert generally, and I found myself meeting new people. I found myself making new connections. And we're not talking about surface level connections. I was making deep and meaningful connections with people I just met. My ability to problem solve started to improve because now I was seeing the people in the problems and not just the problems. I was finding new creative outlets. I started painting, started making jewelry. I found myself connecting with my direct reports in a much deeper way, which allowed for me to be there for them during some really extremely trying times, some of them personal to each one of my direct reports, but also for our company, some of the things that we were going through were very difficult. And many of those people have thanked me for creating the space for them to process these things at work with them together. And they've said that they feel safe under my leadership. And for me, that is the highest compliment that anyone at work could ever pay me. So, thank you for listening to my story, and I hope that you found it interesting. And maybe it gives you the motivation to try one or a few of the bilateral stimulation techniques that we looked at tonight. I know from my personal experience that bilateral stimulation, in whatever form you choose, can help you become more creative, find new, better, and innovative ways of doing things, and most importantly, help you deepen and strengthen the connections and relationships that you do have. Thanks.